こんばんは。 ForexTV ニューヨークのレミです。3月12日水曜日の午後の為替レポートをお伝えします。12日のアメリカ株式市場でダウ工業株30週平均は反落しました。ダウ平均は46ドル57セント安の 12,110 ドル24セント、ナスダック総合株価指数は 11.89 ポイント安の 2243.87 で終えた。前日に株価は急進していたことから利益確定売りも出ました。本日の取引で原油価格の上昇やドル相場の下落などを受け売りが優勢となりました。ニューヨーク外国為替市場で円相場は大幅反発しました。ドル円は前日比1円65銭円高ドル安の101円70銭から80銭で取引を終えた。午後にはアメリカ株の下落、ユーロが対ドルで一時 1.5572 ドルと最高値を更新しました。対欧州通貨でのドル売り圧力が強まり、円も対ドルで上げ幅を加速しました。それではフォーカストのルーディ・ナーバスさんとのインタビューをご覧ください。
Well, in today's session, we saw euro dollar break 155 and hit another all-time high. And following yesterday's Fed's move, it appears as though U.S. equities and the U.S. dollar is not seeing continued strength. So, Rudy, when at this time right now when mounting concerns about the U.S. economy as well as recession persist, how do traders in the FX market minimize risk?
Well, in order to minimize risk, I think that in the short term we're going to probably see more U.S. dollar weakness. I think this recent measure by the Fed is a good measure, but it's not going to stop the U.S. from going into recession. And in the near term, we've seen other economic data outside of the U.S. Japan and Europe come in positive. It looks like in the short term that this sort of theory of decoupling is going to will hold. Although in the medium term and the longer term, within a year or so, we think it won't hold since seems to be a 3 to 5 quarter lag between eurozone growth and U.S. growth. So the chances are that Europe will catch up. But in the meantime, I think that we are going to see further U.S. dollar weakness. I think the euro is looking to test 155.35, and beyond that there's a 156 level. One thing for tomorrow we'll be looking closely at is at 10 a.m. GMT, where the past 2 days there have been buyers from the Arab countries coming in and buying euro. So we could test 155.33 and break new highs then. But concerning back to the U.S. in itself, when we look at the Fed, we do have the FOMC meeting next week, and there is talk between 50 or 75 basis points. I think if the Fed goes 50, there is going to be major disappointment in the markets, and you could see more further U.S. dollar weakness. That's why we think the Fed has to go 75 basis points. And another reason why they have to do that too is because this measure that they did is to reduce the risk premium in credit. The risk premium is much higher now than it was back then. And by reducing this risk premium, it makes it easier to transmit monetary policy. But in the meantime, the transmission of monetary policy is impaired. And the Fed's going to have to use the big guns to get it through and to have some impact in the economy, because right now we're not seeing much of an impact at all.
Well, Rudy, you highlighted some of the major themes that are playing out in the FX market right now, and the Fed's latest move in conjunction with the other central banks does address liquidity concerns, but not underlying economic or housing concerns here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And at a time such as now, it is hard to call a top in euro dollar, and we've been seeing this rapid ascent in the euro currency. But what levels will you be watching, not just in the near term, but also long term, and what event risk outside of the U.S. Will be key?
Well, as far as you said before, for the euro, we're looking at 156 as being a key level, because after 155.35 there isn't much. For the yen, we're looking at support of 101.65. There's that strong correlation between the risk correlation between the yen and equities. And given what we've seen so far and our research we've done run on the U.S. stock exchanges and the indexes, there is risk for further downside risk to those equities over the next 9 months. We're probably going to end up net negative over the next 9 months, which is going to be positive for the yen. As far as the pound goes, upside risk is about 204. After that, we just have to wait and see. As far as the carry trade goes, the Swissy seems to be the preferred vehicle of choice over the yen at this point, largely because of the volatility in the yen and its correlation with equities. So right now we're looking at resistance about 104.28 for the Swiss franc and support about 101.36. CAD is an interesting one because it's the only central bank that has really responded in sync with the Fed. So right now, from a currency play, you're looking at CAD, really just hovering around parity. It's not performing well against the euro and the rest of the crosses. It's really sticking to what the U.S. dollar is doing. And despite the fact that we've seen really strong data coming out of Canada, which says that maybe the Bank of Canada was wrong, but I would tend to agree with the Bank of Canada that their move was right. They did the exact same thing in 2001, where they cut early, even though the domestic demand was still strong. And then they did the right thing. The economy did not fall into a recession like the U.S. did, and they're probably going to avert the same thing again. Aussie, on the other hand, this is one of those currencies where they're still raising rates. So, you're going to see resistance at 0.9375, and then upwards of 94.20.
Okay.
以上、フォーカスのルーリー・ナーバスさんとのインタビューでした。ForexTV ジャパンのレミがお伝えしました。最新の為替情報については ForexTV ジャパンをご覧ください。